Sometimes you don't want to plug your ears in with silicone tips, so let's take a look at 7 semi-in-ears at different price ranges.
And Vincent here, he'll also help you hear the difference for yourselves. The winner might surprise you. Namaste, we're DHRME. Dope hardware rocks my ears.
We'll go by price from most expensive to the least, starting with the JBL Live Flex 3 at $199. These buds sound really good for semi-in-ear buds. Deep, controlled, powerful bass, and a very smooth sound signature. You also get LDAC, which really polishes the high notes and makes them not sibilant at all, but you end up losing a bunch of smart features. Have a listen. You still get a 10-band EQ and a bunch of EQ presets in the app. And from the sound of music to the sound of your voice, how would you sound on calls?
The JBL Live Flex 3 with cars in the background. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Now softly. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3.
What's our take? Pretty decent for calls. Especially if you talk loud and clearly, there is no issue. There is a private conversation mode where you can use an earbud as a microphone in case you don't want to talk loudly in a public space.
Are you still able to hear me? Are you able to hear me louder than normal? There are still cars in the background. Okay, let me know in the comments. Dewey.
So what kind of fuckman controls do you get on these buds? You can answer, hang up, and mute from the buds. You cannot change the volume though. That touch control is for audio only. You get voice aware to hear your own voice, the level of which you can adjust. It's basically how much of your own voice you'd like to hear when on a call. But for semi-in-ears, not quite sure why this is a feature because you can always hear your own voice. Another call feature is auto pickup. So if you're getting a call and you put the earbuds into your ears, it'll pick up the call for you. JBL ain't done yet. You can boost the volume of the person at the other end of the call and add more bass or treble to your voice or the person at the other end of the call. And if you love semi-in-ears and don't want to get stuck in an ecosystem trap, these are a good option. JBL has gone all in with their smart charging case lineup. The Live Flex 3 is their semi-in-ear style buds, and they come in 4 different colors. We have this one in purple. Just like we've come to expect from semi-in-ears, these are comfortable. And yes, that charging case is pretty cool, and we can see why brands like Soundcore are getting in on the action. If you don't feel like pulling up the app on your phone, then you can change things straight from the case. You can control your music and volume, turn on spatial audio modes, change up the EQ, and a bunch of other utility functions like timers, flashlight, etc. But it also acts like a smartwatch by showing you notifications, message previews, and the time. Besides that, we really dig the responsive touch controls and the fact that you get wireless charging. The battery life is advertised at 10 hours on the buds, and in our tests, we got a little over 12 hours. Seriously impressive. Another couple of extras you get is an app, a wear sensor to play pause your audio automatically when you take an earbud out, a max volume limiter, sound balance, play some relaxing sounds, and even use one of your buds as a microphone in case you don't want to talk too loudly in a public place. You heard that in the mic samples. And funny story, what happened after I shot those mic samples is that I came home and I went about my day, and later in the evening, I opened my charging case and saw that there was only one bud. So I had dropped one of the earbuds somewhere. So that says a lot about how well these buds fit, but more on that later. And so we had to buy another pair. The things we do for you guys. Subscribe if you appreciate the effort.
Continuing with the downsides, we are not a fan of the predefined control schemes JBL gives you. It's very restricting. You have to choose if you want each bud's touch controls to do either ambient sound control, volume control, or playback control. You cannot customize individual tap gestures either. Annoying. The case, although rather small, is a bit thick, and I guess that's unavoidable with the touchscreen. The buds are somewhat flashy with the glossy silver finish. We are more into understated looks, but to each their own. The volume isn't a problem, but we experience some strange volume jumps on our S24 Ultra around the 40% mark, from too soft to too loud in one notch and nothing in between. Also, these are not cheap. At half this price, you can buy very good in-ear true wireless buds that will sound better, do real noise cancelling, and offer all the bells and whistles. Check out our Which Earbuds Should I Buy video for our favorites. And speaking of, the JBL gives you a toggle for ANC, but don't bother all too much with it. The ANC or the active noise cancelling does a tiny bit of processing of the low end, but it's definitely not going to change your life. Semi-in-ears are near impossible to do ANC well with. Near impossible. That's where the next buds come in.
The AirPods 4 with ANC are a serious pair of buds to consider, especially for users in the Apple ecosystem. When we heard that these had ANC, we didn't want to believe it. It would be physics defying for earbuds that don't create a seal in your ear to cancel out noise. But Apple wasn't messing around. We ranked them at tier B, which for their semi-in-ear design is seriously impressive. A lot of the low end is cut out, but also a lot of the high end as well as voices too. The transparency is an easy tier S, which considering Apple's reputation in this area, isn't difficult to do, especially since these are semi-in-ear. The AirPods 4 ANC are packed with features like adaptive ANC, which adjusts the ANC based on your environmental noise, and convenient head gestures to answer calls and interact with notifications. The battery life is below average with 4 hours on ANC and up to 20 hours with the charging case. The case is compact and includes Type-C charging, wireless charging, and you can even charge it using an Apple Watch charging puck. The sound quality is richer than the AirPods 3 with enhanced bass, polished highs, and support for personalized spatial audio, making these buds a great choice for music and movies alike. Have a listen. As you can probably tell, making all of these samples is a ton of work, but we want to give you guys the best impression of these buds before pulling the trigger. You can support our efforts by becoming a subscriber. Costs you nothing and you get more free content weekly. And on to some samples of how the phone calls perform. This is a mic test with the AirPods 4 with cars in the background. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. These are one of the best on this list. Easy. Call quality in all situations is incredible. As a Fuckman, you get a few controls straight from the buds. You can answer and hang up calls. You can mute and change the ANC mode. But what you cannot do is change the volume. However, there are some downsides. The design isn't groundbreaking with a single color option and a few corners cut from its bigger brother, the AirPods Pro 2. The main difference is that you can't adjust the volume by stroking the stems. You will need to use Siri or change it on the device yourself. Since the buds lack a complete in-ear seal, it does limit the bass depth. At $180, these may not be the best value for those outside the Apple ecosystem, but if you hate silicone tips shoved into your ear holes but you love your applesauce, then these buds are the real deal. Then we have
the Sony LinkBuds Open at $180. We just don't get this product. You do get all the Sony smarts, including automatic volume, a wear sensor, multi-point, a Find My device on Android, etc. There's Speak to Chat, a feature that pauses your music when you talk, a background music effect for having music not be the focus of your concentration, and an equalizer for sound. And in terms of battery life, very respectable. We got 20 minutes more than the 8 hours of advertised battery life in our battery tests. The design is unique, featuring a cute burger-shaped case and earbuds with a donut-shaped hole in your ears, enabling environmental awareness. Speaking of the environment, here's how these would sound for phone calls in outdoor environments.
Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. And now softly. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. Ice, ice, icicle.
The calls are very ordinary in challenging conditions. The Fachmann controls are super basic too. Just answer and hang up. no volume controls. Controls for media is also a similar story. While Sony does let you tap close to your ear, which is nice, the actual controls are quite convoluted, with you having to tap 4 times to increase or decrease volume. And that cute burger case doesn't do wireless charging. And neither the first nor the second generation fit either of us great. Like, they're sitting in Vincent's ears right now. They just kept falling out. These are easily the worst fitting buds on this list for our ears. And we're really curious, does anyone watching this video have a good fit with these buds? Let us know in the comments. Anyway, then there's the sound quality. The bass is almost absent, the highs can sound very harsh, and it just doesn't sound great compared to other buds on this list. Have a listen for yourself. Dare we say it? The worst sounding on this list for us. And the sound variability is more sensitive to placement than any others on this list. Also, you just get an IPX4 rating, which is just passable. Unlike
the Samsung Galaxy Buds 3 at $150. Look, we'll come right out and show you our popsicles, icicles, and test.
Here's a mic test on the Galaxy Buds 3. Outdoors with cars in the background. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle. Test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Guys, along with the AirPods, these might be the best phone calls we've tested both in noisy and windy environments. And not just your voice, your music will also sound good. Samsung has packed these to the gills with sound capabilities, and despite the form factor, these are quite impressive on the sound front. You get a full-blown EQ and a UHQ mode, which we think is overkill for this form factor. But hear it for yourself. Battery life is decent and you get a bunch of AI features, including translation based on Google's Gemini model. The new squeeze and stroke controls are very good, and as is the incredible IP57 rating against water and dust. Samsung has also included voice commands here, and we dig it as a feature even though it's not a make or break kind of addition. But these buds aren't perfect. Even though they sound very good, they don't have as much bass as some others on this list. They were also eye-wateringly expensive at launch and now seem to be priced at a more reasonable level. One of the headlining features is noise cancellation, but man, it ain't nothing to write home about. But most of all, these have one big deal breaker, a feature even $30 buds give you these days. Multipoint. The ability to stay connected to multiple devices at once. That's when you pause on one device and hit play on the other. No need to do the pairing shenanigans. But Samsung lets you do that only if you're logged in with the same Samsung account on Samsung Galaxy tablets, phones, and laptops. Not cool, Samsung. The story continues for the 360 audio feature, which works on Samsung TVs as well, but not on a non-Samsung device.
Before we go on to a cheaper pair of buds and save you some money, here's a tip to save money in general when traveling. eSIMs. We were at CES in Las Vegas earlier this year, and that genius invention saved these European noobs a ton of money and energy. We could immediately get connected with family back home and book our Uber to our Airbnb. A better alternative to using your own SIM card and racking up huge roaming costs once you get back. Or worse, the pain and hassle of trying to find a SIM card after a long and tiring journey. That's why you guys gotta check out Saily, an easy to use eSIM provider which works in more countries than the number of earbuds we have. 150 countries to be precise. You just install the Saily app on your phone, choose your data plan for the country you're traveling to, and make sure to activate the eSIM before traveling. Once you land, boom, you're all set and ready to watch another DHRME video. You can sign up to Saily using the link in the description, and if we didn't save you enough money with this tip already, we've got you 15% off if you use that link. And if you have any issues, Saily has 24/7 support and they will fully refund your money if it doesn't work with your phone. So check out saily.com/DHRME and get 15% off your next purchase. Thanks to Saily for sponsoring this video. Back to the video now, guys. Are you ready? We're taking a steep price drop, guys, to the SoundPeats Air 5 at about $90. You're getting 4 color options here. You're getting multi-point and touch controls, which are customizable in the app. The app also lets you do a bunch of other things we'll come to in a bit. These are IPX5 certified and advertise about 6 hours of battery life. You also get a low latency mode and you can make phone calls. How do they sound though?
Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3.
The calls are fine but not great. And these are also another set of semi-in-ear buds that promise ANC. SoundPeats try to make you do some of the work by selecting the size of your ears in the app, and does it work? Well, I was quite surprised by how good the ANC on these was. The biggest advertised feature on these is the Snapdragon sound, and again, like the Samsung, I think this is overkill for this form factor. But how did these sound? Well, take a listen for yourself. I'm positively surprised. These sounded pretty decent for this price, I must say. I'm quite happy. Alright, let's move from the Air to the
Nothing ear stick. We'll keep this one short because we've covered it too many times before. But the Nothing ear stick is definitely a vibe, like all Nothing products. The price has taken a nosedive down to $65 from its original $100, so they're definitely worth considering. These sound fine, have a ton of customization in the app, and actually fit a bit more snug than the JBLs, for example. They do have multi-point, but the standout here is the design, a solid IP54 rating, decent battery life, and squeeze controls. The lipstick style case is classy and functional. It is on the larger side and doesn't have wireless charging. The buds do have a bunch of extras though, but we're going even lower in terms of price to
the Moondrop Block earbuds. These are a dark horse in the semi-in-ear segment, or a light horse, or a pink one. You can get these in 3 colors. Their price, and I hope you're sitting down, is $22. Basic touch controls on the stem make it easy to handle common functions like play and pause, but where the Moondrop Block truly delivers is in sound quality. The natural tuning strikes a balance across frequencies, producing audio that is notably clear for semi-in-ear buds at this price point. Now, while the bass doesn't match the levels of others here, the sound profile remains clear and balanced. Take a listen. With a claimed 6-hour battery life and USB-C charging, the Moondrop Block is a budget-friendly option for those looking for decent sound and comfort in a semi-in-ear design. And what about calls?
Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3.
The microphone performance is adequate for quiet settings, but it struggles in noisier environments, making these less suitable for frequent calls. As is expected at that rock bottom price, there are several drawbacks that are worth considering. The unique case design is awful for dust getting into your buds and your case. The build quality given the price could raise questions about durability and long-term reliability, as budget earbuds tend to be more prone to failure over time. And the lack of an accompanying app or literally any kind of extras or smarts might be a turnoff for some of you.
So which one would I pick? Well, none of them. They just don't fit me. I much prefer hook or clip style buds for an open ear experience. What about you, Ron?
I just save money and buy something that's good enough here. So the SoundPeats, the Nothing Ear Stick, or even the Moondrop Block would be fine. The only downside of the Moondrop Block is that it doesn't have multi-point, but otherwise I would just use that. Because I have other audio products for other purposes, I'll just use these around the house where it's easy to find if I moondrop them.
A quick disclosure, we received earbuds from Samsung and Moondrop, but all the others we bought ourselves. We even bought the JBL twice. And the reason we're able to do that is because of our lovely patrons and YouTube members. If you didn't know, we have 4 types of members: Popsicle, Icicle, and these beautiful tested folks. And of course, our highest tier, the Fuckman tier. A big thanks to Gamma Panda and Paula for your continued support. You've been semi into this product category, and we've been DHRME. Dewey!